Heyo everybody, Haku here with HaQ&A 70. This one's going to be kind of short, I'm thinking. Maybe, kind of short for a HaQ&A. But basically, the only comments that I had that I thought were like good to talk about, discuss for the HaQ&A were all from Tower of God this week. So I guess that means that the only section we're having is Tower of God. So before that, don't click off the video yet. Before that, I'm going to go through the 18 anime that I'm watching this season. Just give a quick rundown from my most favorite to least favorite and discuss each of them a little bit. I doubt it'll take very long, but that's going to be something other than Tower of God here. And before then, just some general things to talk about. And let me look at my notes really quick. One thing I wanted to talk about that I found myself thinking about throughout the week and wanting to get out is that, sorry if you can tell in my videos, but I've been struggling lately when I record to be, I guess confident is the word. I have no clue, but it used to be when I went to record, it'd be so natural. I'd just have so much fun with it and go through it. And now I still enjoy it. I still love making videos. It's what I have a passion for, of course, or else I wouldn't do it so much. But I don't know. I've been struggling when I record lately. I still want to do it, but when I get up there and when I'm doing it, I just don't feel as confident as I did. And I think that's part of missing the HaQ&A for a while. I think it might be from that because I was so used to getting up here for the HaQ&A videos, just shooting straight from the cuff, no whatever, no barely any notes or anything, just a few bullet points so I remember what to talk about, and me just talking with you all. So I kind of feel like me not doing that for so long, it became sort of this thing where I wasn't as well adjusted to just getting up in front of a webcam and just talking about stuff. So I guess maybe that made my reviews, I don't know, they just didn't feel like my same heart was in them, even though I was trying my hardest in every single one, and I'm still trying my hardest in every single one. And hopefully with doing the HaQ&A again, things can get better. I felt really good about all my stuff last week. I'm feeling good about everything this week. Working very, very hard on it. Not sleeping very well. I think that might have something to do with it too. The past month or two, I have not been sleeping barely at all. I just can't sleep very well. So that might have something to do with it too. But yeah, hopefully being on ball with trying to answer comments as best I can now. Once again, I was answering them like a year ago. I would be answering comments as soon as I possibly saw them. Now I'm trying to get back to that. I'm trying to do that, and hopefully answering comments like that again, and doing the HaQ&A again every single week or two. I think it's been 2 weeks since the last one, roundabouts. So yeah, hopefully getting back into that can get me back to where I felt, where everything just felt natural again. Hopefully. But also, for anime, like I said, I've been working really, really hard on videos. So I'm around 4-ish days behind on anime, so I haven't seen the most recent episode for a lot of what I'm watching before getting into these 18 and talking about them. And I'll stay spoiler free, so don't worry about anything. You can just sit through. If you're looking for any sort of thing that you think you might want to be watching, you can stick around for my thoughts 3 to 4 episodes in to see what I think about it at this point, if it's worth you jumping into. Because all 18 of these I enjoy. I like all 18, genuinely. Some more than others, but this is probably the closest season where, from my favorite to my least favorite, this is probably the closest gap it's been in how much I like them. They're all pretty equal to me. None are super great, but none are really that mediocre, I would say. None. But yeah, I'm a few days behind. Also, one thing I'm really sad about is Nanatsu no Bitaku just came out recently, the first episode, because it started airing a few weeks behind. And I watched the first episode, and it was only 5 minutes. It's a short series, and Nanatsu no Bitaku is a spin-off of Shin Nanatsu no Taizai, and I loved Shin Nanatsu no Taizai. It was so goofy and cheesy and ecchi, but I loved it. I got so into it. I enjoyed talking about it with a few of you in comments and on Discord. I really enjoyed talking about it, so I'm kind of sad that Nanatsu no Bitaku is only 5-minute episodes instead of full-length, like a full-length series with full-length episodes. Kind of bummed about that, just to be honest. It was good. I still had fun. But it just feels like it's going to be all ecchi with no story. similar. Sentan no Taizai didn't have the best story, but it had one. It was a full-length series with full-length episodes. That's just what I was hoping for Nanatsu no Bitaku, so I'm kind of sad and disappointed now. Because something I was really, really looking forward to, really hyped about, just didn't live up to those expectations. Which is sad, because I'm pretty sure it was the one that I said I was most hyped about. But either way, my current standings, and talking about these real quick one by one, my favorite anime I think so far, and this is kind of a loose list. A lot of these were kind of early on in the series. A lot of them are super interchangeable, because like I said, a lot of them are really close together for me. But I would say, starting at number 1, let's talk about Kokoku. I think Kokoku is great. For those of you who want a suggestion, I would say it kind of fits into what most anime fans would like. I think it's kind of... I don't know if I would say it's for everyone, because some people only like slice of life stuff, and Kokoku's more of a dramatic mystery. It has some action, some adult stuff in it. But I still think it's one of those things that most people can get into and enjoy. And it's by a studio that I think this is their first full-length anime ever. So I think they're doing really well. It's probably my favorite thing. And Juri is such a badass. I love the characters in it. Secondly, to bring up Mitsuboshi Colors really quick, I would say that's second for me. Nothing but respect for my lollies. The lollies are our saviors, they are our heroes, and they are great. Everything is adorable. None of it's sexualized, which is a problem I have with Ryo no Oshigoto that we can talk about later. None of it's sexualized. All the lollies are just adorable and innocent, and everything feels great. All the stories they tell and the jokes they have, all the comedy bits, are really real feeling. They feel like things that actually people say, people do, which I like a lot. Third, bringing up Citrus. Citrus is great because there are some issues I'm having with it here and there that I think it's going to work out throughout the series. A lot of people seem to really like this that have read the manga, so I trust that a lot of these issues will work their way out. But even despite those issues, I get so into it every week. I am just cheering for Yuzu to succeed. Behind Juri, or maybe right up there with Juri, she's my favorite main character of the season, because I root for Yuzu so much. I am just so into Citrus. Fourth, Hakata Tonkotsu Ramens. Was it episode 2 or episode 3? I think it might have been episode 2, but the ending for it just blew my mind. I kind of somewhat saw it coming. In the last 5 minutes, I could somewhat see it building up. But then when it happened, and they were like, everything connected together, Hakata Tonkotsu Ramens blew my mind. I really, really like that series too. Again, with a cast of badass characters. Fifth place, I'm actually going to put Slow Start. Slow Start I didn't think would be very good. Thought it'd be your generic, not so great, sort of slice of life. But it is so good. Everything is always moving and fluid. Like, when you watch it, there is never any scene, which most anime are filled with scenes like this. They're even the general, the largest part of a lot of episodes of anime, where most shots are just characters, the mouth is moving, and that's about it. But there is pretty much no shot of that ever for longer than maybe a second or two in Slow Start. The characters are always moving. There's always something going on in the background. There's just something. There are no screens of just them shot from the side or from the front talking. Everything is very, very dynamic, and I think that it's something that I guess I haven't seen very often. I feel like Maid Dragon probably did that pretty well, but I notice it a lot in Slow Start. I notice it being a lot more, and it means there's a lot more work put in to have all that moving around. But yeah, there's a lot more work put in, so it makes me respect it more, and the comedy is great. The characters are really good. Sixth, I'm going to say Sorayori Matoi Basho. I get feels every single episode from this. Not necessarily like sad, want to cry kind of feels, but the way that the musical score works and the series is slowly building up, it kind of gives me chills almost every episode, especially when they use the lyrical OST bits. They do very, very well at taking a pretty simple structure and turning it into a great episode of a show. Seventh, I'll throw out Hakume to Mikuchi, which is also very, very good. I like the nice, comfy feeling of it. It feels to me a ton like Shoujo Shumatsu Ryoko in the way that it is set up. It may even be by the same people, I'm actually not sure, by the same studio. But the way it's set up, the way everything plays out, is so similar to Shoujo Shumatsu Ryoko, even though the settings are nothing alike. But it's great. I would, again, another one, I'd recommend all of these, all 18 of these that I'm talking about, I'd recommend you to watch, especially so you can talk in the comments and on Discord with me about them. But other than that, watch them because you might enjoy them. I like all 18 of these a whole hell of a lot. 8th, Violet Evergarden. Violet Evergarden episode 3 I just watched this morning while I was eating breakfast. Man, I was tearing up trying not to cry. Violet Evergarden 3 was great. I liked episode 1, I liked episode 2. Episode 3 was great. And the production quality, the story has been good, but the production quality, man, the animation and music are so good. And like I said, the story's solid too, especially episode 3. 9th, Yuru Camp. Yuru Camp's another one that kind of hits me with the feels almost every time, and it's usually the happy, comfy feels. But Yuru Camp is very, very good. I think the production quality is a lot better than I thought it would be. It's super cute. It's really funny. Definitely no complaints there. Has a good cast. 10, Killing Bites. I've actually only watched the first 2 episodes, I think. I haven't got to the 3rd one yet. But Killing Bites is great. Like I said, sexy, muscular main character girl. Muscle girls are the best. Very, very, very good looking. And I love how the main character's power, basically, I don't think it really spoils anything to say. The power is basically along the lines of Honey Badger doesn't give a fuck. That's basically her only power, and I think it's great. So yeah, it's one of those that you can't take too seriously, Killing Bites. Because, I don't know, they're not telling this deep, impactful story. They're not trying to do that like something like Violet Evergarden is. They're not trying to do that. It's just one of those that you have to watch and have fun with, and it's a very fun show to watch. It's just fun, action, some fan service here and there. I enjoy it. 11 could have actually gone higher for me on this list is Beatless. I was expecting Beatless to not be very good, and there are definitely some aspects about it that are pretty generic, like the whole normal male main character gets up with the female, a sort of female with special powers or origins or something, and they go on from there, which is, God, that's such a generic thing that we've seen a million times. But it manages to be good. I actually like it. I think it has an interesting setting and interesting concepts are playing out within it. But like I said, we're kind of early on in the series. Not too much I can tell so far. Ryuo no Oshigoto, I really like it. 2 complaints, not really complaints I have. 1, lollies are super sexualized, which can still be good, but I don't know. Sometimes it's like, leave the sexualization to the fan art. You don't need to go too deep into the fan service with lollies. I know Tenchi no 3P did it, and I loved it in Tenchi no 3P, but Tenchi no 3P was a damn good story too. In Ryuo no Oshigoto, it doesn't really tell that same story, because the other complaint that I kind of have, and again, it's not really that much of a complaint, is every single episode, I find myself watching them, they're getting all sweaty, they're getting short of breath and stuff, and I'm like, you're playing a fucking it's a board game, people. You're playing a board game. I find myself, like, basically wanting to shout that at the screen every episode. You're playing a board game. Chill out. It is a board game. Like, these people are wagering, essentially, they're, like, wagering their life and stuff, putting all this into a board game. So, that, to me, is a little bit extreme. But again, it's a very fun series. I enjoy it. I think it has good production quality, in my opinion. The lollies are cute, but too sexualized, I think, in my opinion. But either way. 13, Toji no Miko. I saw people complain about this or say that it was kind of not very good. I saw it get a lot of low review scores after the first episode. And what I think that is because in the opening scene of the first episode, there are some girls, and they had this weird armor that we haven't seen since then, and the creature was in CG that I didn't even think was that bad. I think the CGI, it was inserted with the normal 2D animation. It wasn't even as bad as what was in Attack on Titan Season 2, so I don't see the complaints really. And everything after that, I think that the complaints are from people that saw that, just said, oh, shitty CGI, and then started giving it bad scores. We saw that happen at the beginning for HaQ no Kuni, which was all, well, basically all 3D CG, and God, it was so good. And we saw it with Kimono Friends at first, where people didn't like it at first, and then it came around to being a great story. And man, Kimono Friends was such a great story, both with the show, or with watching the show, but also knowing what's going on behind the scenes and how this anime is catching on and becoming such a big thing week after week that so many people are getting into, and it's becoming this meme. That was such a great thing to experience week to week, being a part of the people watching Kimono Friends. But I don't know. I guess it's people just that saw the 3D CG in Toji no Miko at the very beginning, and they didn't give it much of a chance. But I think everything I've seen so far from Toji no Miko, I've really thought it was creative. I've enjoyed it. I think it could be better, but I really like what it is. But yeah, it totally could be better. I think it would have made a good, like Naruto, Bleach, Katekyo Hitman Reborn, like a long-form shonen. I think it could have been a good long-form shonen, just with female main characters, which doesn't happen that often because of shonen being targeted towards a teenage male or young male demographic. But I think it could have been better off as something like that, because it has a really good setup to be something like that. But either way, I like it for what it is. 14th, Mira no Kaikara. Didn't know if I should put this higher, but it is so relaxing and cute and comfy. And every episode I'm like, oh, I could just die of how cute and calm and relaxing this is. Samira no Kaikara is great. Takonomi at 15. Takonomi is very, very enjoyable. It's only 12-minute episodes, so I was expecting it to be, because NTR was 12-minute episodes, and sometimes they were a pain to sit through, because I'm like, if this was a full-length series, I would view it in a different way. And if it was 5-minute episodes, it's like, that's nothing. I just watch it and it's like, oh, it's over already. But 12 minutes was just in that area where it didn't seem as serious as a full-length series, but it was also a pain, like it was kind of long to just sit through. But 12 minutes so far, and NTR isn't the worst worst show to do that. There were a lot of other shows that I was like, I can't sit through 12 minutes of this. Just because it didn't have that budget or anything. But Takonomi, despite being 12 minutes long, very good. I think I consider it on the level of your normal sort of slice of life comedy. I think it's really good. I think it's funny. I like the characters a lot. I think it's the ending that I liked a lot. The ending was really good. 16th, I'll talk about Death March really quick. Death March something long name, Isekai something. Death March, I totally enjoy. It is your generic Isekai, but I like it a lot. I like the setup. I think they're handling it well. But at the end of the day, it's your generic Isekai. If you like generic Isekai, you're going to like it probably. Because it does it better than some other generic Isekai that I enjoyed. 17th, Mark and Modkin. I realize my bottom two are ones that I still like. I just was kind of disappointed by, because they're not exactly what I thought they would be. 17th, Mark and Modkin, because, again, I thought it was going to be really high quality and stuff, and I know I said that before after the first episode, and then I get to watching it and I'm like, oh, this is not what I expected. It's still good, though. I would still say to check it out if you like that sort of thing. Yeah, really, it's a lot better than a lot of the... Which is why I say that from my least to most favorite here, they're kind of close. Because when I'm thinking about Mark and Modkin, it's second from the bottom, but it's still better than, like, half the shows I watched in the past 3 seasons, probably. So, yeah, it's still pretty good quality. None of these are what I would particularly call that mediocre, honestly. They're all decently above average, I think. And then 18th at the end is Nanatsu no Bitaku, because like I said, even though it's cute, even though it's full of fan service, it's still good to me, I think. I still enjoy it. It's just not what I was expecting. I wanted it to be a full-length series. But at least we get something, I guess. Maybe here's hoping for a actual full-length series of the Nanatsu no Bitaku / Sin Nanatsu no Taizai world later on. But yeah, either way, that's it. That's the 18 shows I'm watching and kind of my thoughts on them. I dropped Darling in the Franxx because I could not make it through episode 2. It was terrible. It had amazing production quality. The animation was so great, but the story was so bad. And just I guess the setting was okay, but the way they were handling it was so bad. And the thing is, I think it might have a little bit to do with A1 being on Trigger with this, because you know I'm a Trigger fanboy. I love Trigger anime. Even Kiznaiver, which was kind of the, like I called it, the redheaded stepchild of the Trigger anime family. Even with that, Kiznaiver was not bad by any means. It was quite good. Even though it had a ton of problems like the stupid shipping and romance, this carries all of the big problems that made Kiznaiver the least popular anime from Trigger. This has all of the problems of that, and it seems like it has Trigger's level of production quality, but A1's A1 has a history of they'll put out a really, really great anime, and then they'll put out 2 or 3 really, really bad ones. And those really bad ones can have great animation, but they have really terrible stories. Sword Art Online is a huge example of it being a terrible one with great production quality. This gives me that feeling. This gives me the feeling that we have all the good parts of the production quality of Trigger and A1, but all the bad parts of Kiznaiver and A1 storytelling. So yeah, I had to drop Darling in the Franxx. I couldn't take it anymore. But either way, now that we're done with that, let's talk about Tower of God. Let's get into that section. So, talking about some Tower of God topics, first off we have Rhiannon, who said, I didn't like Zahar's design. He looked like a stupid kid. Kunedwan is so awesome. I get what you mean by that. I like Zahar's design being reminiscent of Wangnan is one thing I'll throw in, but I like it being reminiscent of Wangnan to hint to their relationship, like, oh, Wangnan's totally related to Zahar, which we already kind of know. I certainly know. But I think that Zahar might look too much like Wangnan, because they're basically carbon copies of one another. So I kind of feel like I wish he had looked like Wangnan, like they would be relatives, like father and son, but not like exactly like him. Also, his clothing design he looked pretty terrible. The clothing design was pretty bad. Rhiannon also said, I like this chapter. The monster within Zahar brings a new light to the story and may be the motive behind his present-day sleeper in action. And I like it a lot that he has this monster within him, because it makes a lot of small things throughout the series, like him changing to become evil and pushing people away and stuff. It makes things throughout the series add up, and it further develops more mysteries and theories. What is it? Is it a devil or whatever? Is it another whatever the red Thrissa is? How did he get it? It adds in fuel for future stories while making some things in the past add up and eliminating some, I don't want to say plot holes, but eliminating some things where we were like, oh, we don't know where that leads. Now we know where it leads, but we don't know what else there is to come from that. So yeah, I liked all of that. Cycle 113 said, I have to admit I've been... and this was at my my discussion prediction video that I put out over the weekend. I have to admit I've been missing this type of content from you. The Tower of God... I love the Tower of God lore videos. I think you're spot on with Eurasia. Remember that girl Hax? She was a Eurasia family member, and her motif was also pink, but with a green cushion. Too much green is associated with their family, so I reckon it must be it. Yeon is pretty difficult because Yeon Yuwa displayed all variations of red and orange Shinsu. She does seem to be associated with pink, but I'm not too sure. I'd like to do more content like that when I can. It's just really difficult for a good few reasons. I definitely wanted to talk about that here. Just because, I typically have 2 to 3 videos talking about Tower of God every week. I have the live reaction, I have the review, and I have this where I discuss Tower of God more than anything. basically always. Tower of God is basically always my longest section. So I don't know. I would like to do more videos like that, but there's that. And there's also the fact that it's difficult to find topics that I'm like, okay, I can do my own video on that topic and it be something that I haven't talked about before, whether in older videos or in reviews or in live reactions. It's hard to find good topics that I haven't talked about before. But if I can find topics like that, I'm definitely going to do more videos like that. Also, I looked it up. I couldn't find anything confirming that Hax is a Eurasia family member. I do still think that it's green because of the pink floral stuff that they all use. But yeah, I couldn't find anything confirming that. And Yeon, for me, the Yeon family could have been rainbow or luminous. I could have made that stretch for either one. But I felt like rainbow fit the Lopobia family more. And I felt like luminous fit the Ari family more. I think that's who I said was luminous. So I felt they fit other families more, and that kind of left yellow to the Yeon family. And yellow is arguably similar to flame stuff. So it's kind of one of the more out there guesses. It's not completely without reasoning, but the reasoning is kind of shallow. Lol said, I believe the 13-month series were originally made for the 13 warriors, so this makes sense. And see, I thought that during the Floor of Death, I know they were made to give to each of the princesses, the 13 princesses or whatever, splitting up the key. I know that, but I also said that I thought they said during the Floor of Death they were originally made for the warriors, but they were given to the princesses of those families. And then since then they've been like switched around a bunch. So I didn't totally remember that. I'm just saying I think that's what was said. That's why I didn't want to put it in that video, because I didn't want to say it like it was a certain thing when I don't really remember if they were for the 13 families or not. I think they were, though. But that's why, partially, that's a big reason that I gave colorless as the color for the Grace family, because I thought that they said the, colorless December was supposed to be Arlen Grace's, and that's how it ended up going to N and her having that connection. So that's one of my reasons for that. Ethan Vile said our guesses really aren't close, somehow. Glad to get more input on the matter. Thanks for making the discussion. And he left a link to his list, and I guess I'll leave a link to that down in the comments. I shared it on Twitter, but I'll put a link down in the comments in this video too, if any of you want to check that out. So I read through it, and some thoughts I had when comparing mine to his. If you want to go read that now, go find it in the comments and click on it, and then come to hear my thoughts as you're reading through that or anything. I almost put Hendo Lock with the color green too because of the turtle sobriquet, but I ended up thinking it fit the Eurasia floral theme more, so I changed my mind and was like, okay, I need to find something different for Hendo Lock. Also, he mentioned that thinks that the white February could be a sword, since white seemed to be REA's color. And I say white being REA's color instead of silver, because I know silver white was something that was an argument. I say that though because Joaquin is known as white, and he is Hone's direct son, so I would say that REA family is going to be white. And that's sort of also what makes me think it's a lock over being silver. But I think in the blogs we know, and I say no very lightly because blog info is subject to change, but I'm pretty sure they said 2 of the 13 months are swords, Red October and Luminous June. Currently the REA's princess, their only princess, has the Red October, and red isn't REA's color. And also a Kun princess, we know they're not yellow, but one of them has the yellow May, so the colors don't totally fit what princesses they're currently with, so I just had to make the best guess I could, because they don't fit totally. And I also said that I love that both me and him, we both ended up with Indigo and Tupari as the last families left over that we just had to throw together. So yeah, I think overall they had good reason for all that they said. So I think the half we disagreed on could go either way, realistically. The only one that I was confident about, pretty confident that they didn't agree on or say the same thing, was Pobedao being silver. And the reason I said that is because I did go back and look for different characters, just to see... I went back and looked at different characters from the families that we went to see if any of them used Shinsu of a certain color, and I'm pretty certain in the Floor of Death, Pobedao Gustang did actually use silver Shinsu, or at least he had a silver aura around him while using Shinsu. So that's just a guess, but I think it's a pretty solid yes. I don't want to say it's totally confirmed or anything, though. Then some things they brought up after that. They said, I think we both use the same assumption for the 13-month series. I've also considered that Luminous June and Red October are swords. The reason I didn't give the fact so much weight is that sword is a very broad expression, so there's a lot of different types. It wouldn't surprise me if there were 6 to 8 swords among the 13-month series. In fact, a lot of the family heads are fishermen or registered as such, so having an attack weapon might come in handy. I'm also not sure whether or not Arihan was a swordsman back in the day, especially because of the relation with Ariehan. I find it more plausible for him to use something that either complements Arie's battle style or something that's effective in combat against him, like with Kun and Hendo or Eurasia and Pobedao. The pair seem to fit in that group. I like all of what you said there. I don't know. I think that they might be the only 2 swords, and the rest, because needles don't count as swords, I think they might legitimately be the only 2 swords. But then again, we don't really know if the weapon themselves relates to what the family does. So I kind of took liberties when guessing what I thought the Ari family's color was going to be. So either way. And I thought that maybe they would both be swordsmen since they have that relation. Maybe they're just both swordsmen. But again, could go either way. I don't really know. Let me find where I was. They said, but your reasoning can definitely make sense too, so you can go either way. We can't do anything about it. Your Pobedao choice and explanation was the one that really made me regret not going back to look it up, because you might be right about that one, but if it is indeed just like a silver glow around him, it won't be enough to convince me yet, I'm afraid. I might look into that soon. The Tupari thing made me laugh. I was glad I didn't miss any major info drop somewhere, unless we both missed it. All in all, I'm curious where the story takes us in this regard, and I guess we'll both be on the lookout for clues in the future. Seems like something we won't know for sure for a while, though I wouldn't mind getting a big info chapter during the next portion of the current arc, because not sure if you've read the new chapter yet, so I won't say. Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat with all of that. It's probably not something we're going to learn for quite a while. It was just something fun to guess at while we just learned that it was a thing, so that maybe when we do learn stuff, I can say, oh, I was right about this, or oh, I was wrong about this. Sort of like the Wangnan and Karaka being brothers thing from like 2 to 3 years ago almost. Over 2 years ago. Not quite 3, I wouldn't think. Close to 2. But yeah, I don't think there's basically any real information on the Tupari family other than Tupari being a lighthouse user. Yeah, that's basically all we know about them. Another comment, Chaos Shinsu said, you were right, this chapter was really good, but I'm worried about Bomb now. How strong can he be if Kun promises to make him stronger in a month? Yeah, for me, I feel like, and I said in the review, Zahard and Edwan might be presented as a little bit too overpowered right now. It's their Hell-trained versions, so I feel like they shouldn't be that much stronger than Bomb's group. Like, they should definitely be stronger, but it shouldn't seem like Bomb's group isn't a match at all for him. Except Zahard, Siu can always say, like the monster inside him that the current Zahard put in there made the data Zahard super strong, but really, Zahard at the same point in the tower as Bomb, Zahard should maybe still be a little bit stronger to create that drama and tension, but it shouldn't be overwhelming. Same with Edwan, especially Edwan. It shouldn't be an overwhelming difference. It should be a difference where they're stronger, but you can still think, man, when Bomb and when Agro Agnes make it to the top, they can definitely be contenders against them. Whereas right now, at the same point in the chapter with them, they don't even seem like they're even close. So I think that maybe they're being portrayed a little bit too strong. Also, I'm thinking that if Bomb just gets another random power-up, I hope it's not, because it would be continuing the biggest problem in Tower of God, which is giving Bomb random power-ups instead of developing him as a character. Hypes said, I wonder what Kun is going to teach Bomb, and Daniel Remy said, I wonder if Kun will train his son as well. I hope what Kun teaches Bomb, I hope it's some basic training to improve his Shinsu control and his fighting technique, because I think that would be good just to improve Bomb's overall ability that he already has, instead of just giving him another random power-up. That's what I'm hoping that it's not. And for Daniel, no, I think Edwan will be a crappy father. Then lastly, last comment of the week, Seek210 said, that was a great chapter, and I think it might confirm that Rachel's going to be getting the other piece of the thorn, since Bomb's going to be getting the power-up by being trained by Kun. Also like how Edwan was referring to Zahard as a fake, since he knows something's up with him. Yeah, like I just said, I hope the training will be actual training, not just a power-up. And I hope Rachel gets the next Thorn Fragment, because I think that can be something that's used to keep building her up as a legitimate rival for Bomb. Because I think it's good to have characters that are... She isn't necessarily against Bomb, trying to take down Bomb. She's just trying to make it to the top of the tower. But she's somebody that doesn't necessarily agree with or get along with Bomb and his team. And I think that's a good character and group of characters being her team to keep in the story. Keep a team in the story that's trying to do the same thing as Bomb, but they don't get along with them. It makes them a good rival, and I think Rachel getting stronger and getting the Thorn Fragment will build her up as a better rival for Bomb. Also, Edwan has expert levels of petty. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and end this, losing my voice for sure. So, yeah, almost 40 minutes. I hope you enjoyed the video. Like if you did like it. Comment down there to tell me what you thought of all this, what you thought of my thoughts on it. Subscribe for more of more HaQ&As, more Tower of God and anime and more. Definitely, if you want, comment down there about the anime I talked about earlier so that we can discuss them and maybe have a section for some of them next week. Like, comment, subscribe, follow on Twitter if you want. I'll try to keep you updated on stuff for the channel. If you want a link to our Discord server to talk with me and more of us about stuff here and more, yeah, just ask, I can give you a link to the Discord server. That's it. Thank you once again for watching. I'll see you all next time.